Grump's actually a princess? I'm not kissing her.
Welcome, animation buffs, experts, and enthusiasts. I'm happy to present the Animation Club School. Yay for us. I'm very happy to see all of you, whether it's in a recording or live stream right here with us. I still want to thank you for deciding to spend some time with us. It means personally a lot to me. And the month is off. October is finally rolling around the corner, and that means we're starting some new courses, and those courses will be on visual development and 2D traditional animation. So if you ever thought that there was like a calling or a sign you needed, there it is. Go check it out. You can start from a free lesson and then enroll onto our bigger courses. And today, per your multiple requests that you left in the Discord server that we opened our eyes and ears for, we're going to do a workshop based on the topics you were personally interested in. So this time, it's going to be camera movement in fight scenes. So if you ever wondered how to crank up the energy of your scenes to give it like a blockbuster feel, Edward, our mentor in traditional 2D animation, is going to spill the beans on camera movement, different tips and tricks you can use, and how to give your animations that final wow factor. So Edward, if you want to, if there's something I didn't mention, feel free to introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about what we're going to do today.
Yes, hello everyone. Thank you for coming. So we're gonna talk about camera movement in animation in a fighting scene or dynamic shots. It's one of the most difficult things in animation. It's to animate the background with a character, because usually we only do like character animation, and it's already super complex. But if you have something like the camera movement and background rotation or something, it's even more difficult. You have to understand like perspective very well, space, and also it complicates the motion itself. So in our courses, I very rare kind of allow or kind of support the idea if someone wants to just create like full like rotation and motion, because it's very difficult, and for beginners it's maybe they don't understand it right like in the beginning, but in the process it starts to be a pain in the ass. So we trying to avoid this like overstress moments in our course, because it's quite intense. So I really wanted to talk about this topic and show some workshop examples to explain what to know before starting this kind of scenes. And yeah, we're just gonna talk about some references and discuss with our audience who came here, so, like what's how to create this kind of shots, and what the most difficult shots like for the audience was already in their maybe experience. So do you have something to add before we start the workshop?
Actually, yes, I have a little bit thing I wanted to add. Usually we answer the questions in the end of the stream, but you can answer that, like ask them through the whole time. Just the only thing I would like to ask you, so I won't miss it, please put like, a big word question in all caps before writing a message. So I'll be able to look actually through the chat and put them in a little folder I have, so we'll be able to ask them in the end. But I think that's it, and we can actually start with the workshop.
Yeah, Just like quick reminder for people who came here first time. I'm Edward Kurchevsky. I'm a 2D animator and director based in Paris. I came and for 7 years already I've been teaching in Animation Club School, and these workshops we're doing like every four months, just to like reveal and to talk about something interesting into the animation. So I hope this workshop will be interesting for you. Just yeah, like Kata mentioned, if you have something like some questions, please let us know. Let's talk, and also maybe you can leave in the comments maybe cities or countries where you came from. Maybe it will be interesting to know who is watching us. Okay, let's begin.
Yes,
So
please do.
first of all, I wanted to start with about to talk about some like references from this cool studio that calls Align. Tomorrow they will have a huge party in London because they achieve like 10 years old, and so if you will be in London, maybe you can cross by the studio. This studio is very cool, and they doing many commercials right now, and they very specialized on this like kind of European anime style shots, like with a lot of motion, a lot of dynamism, and very solid drawing. For example, here you can see in their website, in their Instagram also, some making ofs, like breakdown of the process, how they doing stuff like that. For example, here you can see that they combine several techniques, several camera motions. Sometimes it's just a huge scale, like a huge shot with the camera, for example, in TV Paint or Toon Harmony, that moves, and the character also moves in one single shot, in one single background. But sometimes you can see this shot with a rabbit. They move background itself, so the background is animated. Yeah, so this combination can give you a lot of freedom, and you don't need to always animate backgrounds or use only camera movement, so you can be smart about it. For example, here as well, sometimes like in anime, because actually in animation industry in Japan is huge. It's on second place in the world. Like first position, like industry wise, it's United States, because like Hollywood, Disney, Pixar and stuff. Second is Japan, and third is France. It's countries who kind of it's how to say, its rating, or not rating, how to say, this amount of production that what they produce in the year. So it's like United States, Japan, and France. Yeah. So in Japan, you probably know that there is a lot of productions with high quality animations, with like Sakuga, what we say, animation, and but they in Japan they try to be very economized in certain like moments, and full animated in different moments in animation. So for example, to combine this economic part and full animation, for example, they do sometimes, for example, this one background, and just add speed lines to make this impression that okay, this background is moving, but actually it's just one drawing, right? And we just use these speed lines, and then we add camera, like in TV Paint or Toon Harmony, where camera moves itself, like like fake camera, right?
Okay.
Yeah, for example, sometimes we use some parts, like for example in 3D, in After Effects we can add planes, for example, and make like camera movement to fake this kind of 3D impression. And it's just, you can see it's a simple shot, but this camera makes a lot of volume in this scene. Yeah, in many shots, for example, there is actually one, they actually very combine it very like in an interesting way. For example, they draw only one background, and they use camera movement inside the program, inside the software, and then they add speed lines on the background, on the floor, to fake that actually it's not the camera moving, it's a background is moving. So it's you have here like a lot of, I mean, the Line Studio use very tricky like approach to get the best results. So today I wanted to do some shot. And yeah, here, for example, you just saw one of my shots on the cover of this stream, and these shots I did like a long time ago. And it was also kind of interesting approach here. I did I did character animation and the background animation and the camera animation stuff. So it's like everything combined here. So this we have only characters that moves basically in a flat surface. Then we add camera, and then we add like rotation of the background, and all this together makes it more dynamic. And also the thing that I never show the legs of my characters also helps me to kind of fake this impression of dynamism. Okay, let's begin our workshop. So I did like 3 drawings to have kind of guideline for our stream. I will begin with this knight with his huge sword that face something big. So we're gonna have this rotation, camera movement, and we're gonna draw this like appearance of this giant, like frost giant. Okay, but before that, you can see that before you starting any the dynamic shots, you have to imagine them, first of all. To imagine these shots, I suggest you to use references. So go to, for example, Pinterest, or go to like Instagram and search for cool animations, or go to Sakuga Boru. You probably heard about this website. This website, it's basically a huge archive or like with like Sakuga animation, but not only. And here there is also a hashtag that's called background animation. Basically, this is what we have here, like background animation, right? So you can see there is like 600 pages, so you can go all over these references and find what you like. Here it's a lot of references, so you can, for example, I don't know, like go here and you can download them or like watch them frame by frame here. And they usually very like long, so you can always find something else when you're searching by like while you're searching something like one like reference, you can probably find many more. Okay, this was maybe not the best example, but maybe here. Yeah, this is actually very cool. And you can like find something like inspiration for your shots and start doing like what you want, right? For example, you don't need to have this exactly like motion, but only maybe direction or composition or rhythm, or like maybe also how water works in that direction, for example. Yeah. So feel free to go and search a lot before you start to doing it, because when you in the process and you're trying to find out something in the process without huge like visual library, it could be difficult. Okay, so first of all, after like when you have references, maybe you can start with the thumbnails. Thumbnails, it's one of the tools, let's say, that can help you imagine scene. For example, you can draw like small like screen like that, and you can draw just composition, just to find out what's going on, what's gonna be happening here. For example, you have shield, you have sword, you have a head, for example, and it's enough. It's enough to imagine the composition, it's to imagine how it's going to look like, because you can see it's almost exactly the same. Next frame, for example, you draw, just maybe, direction of the character. And also you can add maybe perspective, because perspective is super important. I will explain why. Yeah, without knowing, understanding perspective, it's almost impossible to make correct animation in perspective, in space. Yeah, and here we have a bit more complicated scene. So we have our character. It could be very, very simple. And giant. For example. So this is thumbnails. And by doing that, you can already imagine the scene without drawing any details, any keyframes and stuff, right? Maybe I can put it here in the same position. So you can see how it moves also in the thumbnails. Okay. For example, you have thumbnails, but you have to understand again perspective. How perspective works in animation. Okay, imagine that we have a camera, and we have like huge file, a huge project where you can kind of make your perspective grid to understand what's going on. This is kind of ideal moment, but like often you will not have like resources, computer and stuff, powerful computer to make this like huge amount of like project and add perspective grid and stuff. So we have to kind of imagine how it will be. But here I for exercise situation, I can use it. And for example, when you have camera and when you have perspective grid, now you can manipulate with the perspective, right? So we know, we remember that a horizontal line, this is our eye level. Okay, this is eye level. So for example, if my eye level, my horizontal line will go lower, it means that my eyes go lower and I see the scene from below. So we can hear, so for example, my character in this moment, in this position, will look like that. Okay, because we see him from below. If I go here, I go higher, so my eye level is higher than something that's staying in the camera, so we see it from above. Okay, if for example we want to move the camera, for example, our character is moving and camera is rotating or also moving in the space, our camera our perspective grid also will move. For example, yeah, you can see how my, for example, my like rotation of the camera or rotation of the head is changing. Basically, all animation in perspective it's changing perspective. Like all animation in the space is perspective change, and by doing that, you can have your like this freedom. What's actually like 3D animators always use, sometimes abuse, it's a camera. For example, when you do animation in the 3D, I mean, when I see some shots in the 3D, I see how your like animators really abuse this approach. Like, okay, we have a camera, we have characters, we can use camera because what's the point to not use it, right? We do animation in the 3D. It's in 2D. We have to be very accurate and very to understand what we have to do, because we are limited, right? We cannot do everywhere like camera motion because it's expensive. It's more work to do. But in the 3D, it's just a, like a click. Yeah, you have to just put the camera and make a motion and it's done. Okay, but here it's a bit more complicated. So you have to be very you have to understand what you're doing. So basically here we're gonna do exactly the same. We're gonna move our perspective to have this rotation. All right, so I will keep this thumbnails on different layer. If you guys have some questions already, feel free to send it
We
to the
actually
chat.
do. We have one question.
Yep.
What is the minimum drawing skill needed to get into a first 2D animation class?
For the first class, you can be just a beginner. It's not no requirements for the first class.
Mm-hmm. So no requirements, no like specific drawing skill needed. What about the
No.
next courses, the second and the third?
Yes, to go if you want to go to second class, you need to finish first class first of all, or you need to have like high qualities, high like tutorial skills. Otherwise, it will be super difficult for you. Even if you have high qualities, high drawing skills, it could be difficult because second class is super difficult. Even for people with a cool experience already after first class, they saying that, oh my god, second class is just like huge increase, like difficulty increase. So it's very yeah, it's gonna be stressful. So you need to be very experienced already. Just
Oh, and mostly,
watch our demo reels from first class, and you can see what you can expect to go to second class.
yeah, that's fair. There's also another question. If there's an option to make a perspective ruler in the program with like a tool,
Yeah.
is it better to use a tool or an artist should draw the perspective grid themselves?
No, not really. Actually, if you can use a tool, it's better to use a tool. It's
Mm-hmm.
simpler.
Yeah.
Sometimes like to make your life easier in animation, we can use like camera motion in the 3D. Like put, for example, some like cylinder. It's like a character, and make animation with this cylinder, and then put character in this kind of rotation, this perspective to understand it better.
Yeah, that makes sense. No other questions for now. We can move on
Okay.
if you're ready.
Okay, so I have these 3 drawings. Now I want to add some motion in it. So my idea is that the ground start shaking, and it's gonna be earthquake, and from the ground gonna appear a huge giant like frost giant. So in the beginning, we're gonna add. Okay, and our camera also will slightly start to approach. I can actually copy paste that. Okay. Main character will react. I'm gonna make some slightly slow anticipation. Very useful tool. I think I already mentioned on previous workshops. It's out of pack. For example, I want to make some motion, some movement of my character, but I don't want to lose the volume. So I can use one of the tricks of T-Paint as actually tricks of in general like animators, because it was made when animators was doing animation on paper. That's why it's called out of pack. So we just getting our paper from pack bars, out of pack bars. Pack bars, it's maybe you saw like in the previous some animation making ofs of Disney. The pack bar, it's a thing that hold your paper on the animation table. Like when it was everything manual. So here there is a thing like that, and you take your paper from this pack bar, and you can shift, you can move your animation, your paper to the position where your character right now. And this is going to help us to trace our volume. And that's why this technique calls out of pack. So to do that, you have to open light table. To do that, you can go in your timeline, click right click button on the light table, go to parameters, and you have to click below the frame what you want to trace here, and there is a dot, and you move it here and click enter. So I moved my preview, but my original frame was like stay the same. So I moved here. Yeah, you can see. I'm doing only a rough animation because we don't have time to do something more polished.
Also, we have a question that you're probably going to answer during like the workshop, but maybe you have certain thoughts. We can start discussing it now. How do you decide between moving the camera and moving the background? Like imagine like a character jumping really high, a vertical pan, just like a regular pan looks like the obvious choice, but the animation like it becomes like less spacing. Does it become easier? How do you decide between like moving like the camera or like moving the background?
Yeah, if you can use only one background and use camera movement, it's better. It's easier. It's simpler to do that. But sometimes if you have only sky, for example, you can you can also do, just maybe like if it's something very fast as well. Maybe, for example, if you have a background here, you can just very quickly make it go down like that, and then you have only sky, and maybe if you don't have any particular like clouds or something like that, just one just background, solid background, maybe you can do without a pen. But sometimes you, for example, when you do only animation, you don't think about that. For example, you have a task from the director or from from your lead to make a jump, and you have to animate there is no camera, and they for example in post-production they add camera movement and background movement. So if there is nothing particular about this camera motion, about the background movement, maybe you can just make it on the same spot, or make it in a long long project. It's basically you have to adapt to the situation and how the project will use this shot in compositing, because it's different approach, and it's slightly different tasks. I usually use that approach. It's maybe easier to understand the volume and how far my character will jump and so on, and use only one background. It's easier.
Okay, thank you. Oh, and also another question. How do you fix or like deal with the camera lag while tracking moving characters across the screen? I'm not sure what that means. Usually, for me, probably this situation means like characters move maybe in like a certain frame rate, and a character, like a camera, moves in a different one. And how do you sync them together well?
I think it's a question about when camera moves. For example, you have a video or 3D footage, and you have to add on top. I think it's about that, because
Maybe.
if tracking involved, I think it's about that. Basically, you have to retrace frame by frame, maybe before you can add also very rough perspective grid on top of the video to understand maybe how to help yourself. Yeah, but basically you have to frame by frame retrace. If video is on once, there is a life hack, like a trick. Make your animation anyway on twos, but then just slightly shift it every second frame to make it on ones. So you have drawings on twos, but then you anyway shift your animation frame by frame on to make it on ones.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'll probably try that next time.
Mm. All right, so we have some fix. We're gonna edit later. Okay, then maybe I can also, yeah, I wanted to do already some approach, some acceleration, like camera motion. Yeah, like that. Sword should be bigger. Okay. Next frame, I want to do it like more non kind of noticeable difference. For example, here. When I do animation in background, I also not only track my character in the perspective, but also look how arcs of the whole body moves, of the head, of the torso, of the shoulders. It's very important. So I'm trying to do interesting arc. So here my background will move. So I will go always like back and forth for, to see how my character and background work together.
I wonder how often the students of the course bring something very ambitious. Do you usually have to tone down people's ideas, or
Yeah.
what
Yes,
would be more usual?
unfortunately, yes, I need to, because as a teacher, I very my goal is to teach, and also to make student finish the work itself, because if I believe if you're not finishing your work, you're not completing the task, you're not completing the quest, let's say, yeah, and you're not gaining the whole XP, right? Experience points. You need to finish it, because like in my opinion, you only then you get the full experience from this exercise. I'm by finishing, I don't mean that you have to do it in color and clean. No, just it should work.
Yeah, at least be functional.
Yeah. Mm. Now I don't think about timing. My goal is to create interesting motion, and then I will put the timing, and then I will work on the like additional frames. Okay, here gonna be interesting.
Also, another question. This is my personal one.
Yeah.
What type of shots do you like to work on more? Is it something like more dynamic with like shifting cameras, or it's something like acting, subtle like animation,
Mm-hmm.
something more mundane maybe?
I think it depends. It depends how often I do certain like type of job. For example, if I do like motion for a while, I for you know for a change, I want to do something more subtle, more emotional. So I think it's more about that. I like both. Just it's
Yeah, when you have like so much of one type, you just want to do something else for a little
exactly.
while.
It's when you eat something for like a lot, you want something with other like something different for exchange.
Yeah, I completely agree.
I can see now I'm very rough because I'm searching for a nicer arc and position. Yeah.
Nice. I love the out of spec feature. Clip Studio doesn't have that, so you just have to manually like draw it and then move it to a place you need to.
Yeah.
Like an out of spec, but like backwards and very uncomfortable to use. Do you prefer drawing, doing animation in TV Paint, or you also do like other programs? For example,
I
like Tune Room because they
mm-hmm.
have like, mixed features and stuff like that, or
No,
just TV.
I'm TV Paint fan, so I always use TV Paint. I like how this software um kind of repeats the same approach that was doing on paper, and this is like raster that you can do, you know, like the same feeling that you have work on paper, but it's all in the digital. It's all like manual and
Mhm.
intuitive.
Mhm.
Because you know, the biggest advantage of Harmony, it's vector, and it's vector, right? And
Yeah.
that it's everything and also bones. I don't use any of it, so I don't need it.
Well, I mean, I think to each their own.
Maybe in future I will, for example, in certain projects, for example. But for now, uh,
Mhm.
I keep I keep using T-Paint.
Mhm.
By the way, how many people we have?
Oh, I think it's about 27 people watching us right now, and who knows how many in the recording. Oh, and also we got a bit more question.
Yeah.
Not exactly about animation, but which webcam you use for streaming. Also, a question I wanted to ask because the image looks very good. And then we'll have a
uh,
question related
Yeah,
to
I
this topic.
use it's like actually it's not a webcam, it's a camera for like recording videos. It's Sony Alpha, I think. Yeah, and I just uh, use it for for my classes and streaming. Basically, it's webcam for streamers. Yeah, and I also have light here to make my kind of this studio. Let's say, yeah.
Well, I mean, it looks very professional. And another question: what is a good speed to like? Interesting question. Let me rephrase it.
Yeah.
So it's what would you say would be a good speed of like drawing animation? How many frames is it possible to do per day? What would be like maybe a good quota or like an average quota of how many like seconds or frames you can do in a day?
It's all depends actually from the type of shots you have. You cannot just judge by by one kind of ruler. For example, I have to do every day like 4 or 5 or 16 drawings, right? Basically, it's more about shots that you deliver in the week, and also about type of shots. For example, sometimes this could be some and also type of job. For example, sometimes you do only rough animation. Sometimes you do like clean, right? From rough to clean. Sometimes you do only from tie down to clean, for example, just clean it. And also sometimes you do only layouts, like only drawing, like key poses, right? It's completely different tasks and different speed for each task. So, but I think from if you have already like layout and you know in what design you have to deliver your job, maybe I don't know, like in the middle rate, maybe like 2-4 shots per week. Maybe if it's simple, like 6 shots per week. If it's simple, something like just camera like head rotation or something like a take maybe. But if it's more complicated, it could be 1, it could be 2 per week. Yeah, but the thing is that you have to aim to deliver constantly something, right? Yeah.
So
And
basically,
shots also can be very different. Like could be 1 second, 3 second, 5 second. For example, once I was doing 12 bear riders that moving in the same time in one shot, right? So I did it like in I don't know, in a few weeks. But I was in the meantime I was doing different shots to have some some productivity, to not just stick with one shot, because it was time consuming and difficult. So it depends.
Yeah.
But for sure you need, for example, if you have some shot and you just sit on it, you have to deliver this day a rough version. For example, so if you do some animation, you have to have in the same day. If you start it, you have in the same day rough animation already, to make it very quick, very rough, and show to check if it's good direction, because tie down and clean gonna take you a while, but rough should be almost instant.
And also, we have another question of where did you get your education in animation? Did you went to a specific university? You could tell us a bit more. The person who's asking, looking for art universities. So.
Yep, I did 2 universities. One, it was in Poland, in Łódź. It was film school. So they have animation department there, and it's more about making movies for festivals, like being director and be creative, not at all commercial. And then I decided to complete my education by going to France, where I'm here right now, and I did Gobelin School. It's one of the best animation school in the world, where they teach you how to do commercial, let's say, like high quality, hand-drawn traditional animation. And yeah, because in France, actually, it's not only one school in France that you can go. For example, there is MK, there is milk call, I think. I don't know, Kachl, I think. I'm not sure. Milk call, and Atelier de Sèvres, Atelier de Sèvres. So I think it's called, yeah, it's like that. And also there is one very good school in Denmark, the Animation Workshop, also very cool.
Yes. Actually, our teacher in visual development is
Yes.
actually from Animation Workshop.
Yep.
They got an amazing short, I know they worked on,
Yeah.
called Sugar, about this very famous racehorse that got stolen.
Yeah, I really
Very
like it.
interesting.
I really like it. So for now, you see, I'm concentrating on the main character. So I like I told you, I don't have any timing here yet. I'm just trying to see what type of motion, what type of arc my character will have. Okay, I think I will add a bit more here. For now, it seems very slow, but in future I will add more drawings, so it's gonna be more dynamic. Okay, and maybe to have this impression that our camera is moving, maybe I will not put this character too low.
While you're putting the frames down, we also have another question that we will maybe answer here right now. How often should one use onion skin or a light table or like out of bag stuff to maintain consistency while animating? It helps a lot, but I like feel that I might never learn to do this intuitively. Which is better to use?
You have to use all, and to train your intuitivity, you have to flip. It's another term that's that means that you have to, you know, flip your paper, flip your drawings. And it's also came from the past, you know, when you flip a paper, you can maybe in some videos you can see how animators do that, you know, just flip papers. And it's about that. It's about you know, checking your animation while changing back and forward. And also it's gonna give you this intuitivity. It's gonna teach you how to do it, like you know, how to trace your arcs. Gonna be more fluid.
So flip.
Flip, yes, you have to flip.
Go flip.
Backflip.
Do a flip.
I'm curious, does someone put the country or city in the chat where they came from?
Not yet, but I'll repeat that to the chat. If you're interested or if you want to put a little bit of your contribution, type us from which country or city you are, so we can see how many people we have from different parts of the world.
Yeah, I'm just curious where you came from, guys.
Yeah, because we think even on the Discord server, we have people from so very different backgrounds, and it's
Yeah.
probably the same for the YouTube channel as well.
No, it's just cool to have people from around the world. It's what my I think biggest advantage while I'm doing English speaking classes, to have people from around the world. It's super cool.
Yeah, that's true. Another question you can answer while you're putting down thumbnails. Some jobs require you to have experience in different animation programs, which can be rather expensive. What would be a best for a new artist to go buy these programs and like get to know them, or learn animation with what they currently
You can learn animation with any app, any software. If some studio ask you to do some job, for example, I mean, if you're already qualified to some studios and they like offer you money, maybe it's of course better. I mean, maybe you can invest in some software, or use some free software. I don't know what Blender, I think, right? It's free, for example, to use, or maybe you can, yeah, for example, if some studio will ask you to do some job, maybe you can use trial version, I don't know, for that period, and then get money and buy, for example. Or some studio offers you some license, like in a short period of time to do something, but it's rare. But if you go to the studio by itself, I mean, in-house, you can work there as well. So first of all, use any free software, or in other ways to get it.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. While you're still learning, you don't need a specific program to do something,
Yeah.
and you'll get to learn the interface if you needed to do for some specific job.
Yeah.
Oh, and we have so many people from different places in the world. We have people from the USA, from New Jersey and New
Nice.
York. We have people from Tajikistan. We have people from India. We have people from Russia, from Portugal, from Colombia, from Spain. Amazing.
I probably know who is from Portugal.
Yes, I know too because I can see their nickname, but yeah, so very, very different. Awesome. So cool. Like you forget like the people like
It's very nice
around
that
from all over the
animation
world.
is uniting people. I like it.
Yeah, especially
Okay,
internet.
so
Yeah.
so we have kind of this main arc of our motions. So let's go to the background, our cross giant. And actually, this concept is it's very cool concept from my friend with who I work like right now. It's that one. Really loved it, and I wanted to animate it.
Whoa.
It's very cool.
Wow, it looks very cool.
And my friend, she has Instagram that's called Bart the Zombie. Bart the Zombie. So you can search, you can find her in the Instagram. She's super talented. Okay, so we have this. I think I will add. Okay, I will add more cracking later. And then here we need to have something like growing. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a village. I completely forgot about the village. We have only 1 hour left, so I will try to do it very, very fast. Some small lake. I think it's some Nordic village. For example, here I think in our chat, you have some students of mine, and you can ask them, or for example, my students can already answer the question, how was the second class? For example, I think certain of them enter just like right away to the second class, and it was difficult. How, I mean, because on second class you have these kind of dynamic shots, like motion in perspective. It was difficult, and what you would recommend to students who just want to enter the classes in general?
Yeah. Oh, we actually, I think a couple of weeks ago, I think in Fight on our YouTube channel
Yeah, you're
and
right.
Fight on Friday streams, we actually made like a little stream with people from different courses, from the first course, from the second.
Yes.
I represent the third course, but I did like a long time ago, so it was a pretty old animation, but still. And we talked about like what's like were the hardest, the most interesting parts of the course. How do you need to prepare yourself if you want to go into the course in different kinds of ways? Like, what do you need to prepare as like digital, like basically character do you want to work on to prepare that beforehand? And also like different tips and tricks, especially like resting days. That's a very important trick.
Yeah.
I learned while going to animation school. To work good, you need to rest good as well.
Yeah.
So, and also, yeah, Chad, feel free to attack the students who are here in the chat with us with different kind of questions. I think they would be very open to talking a bit more about their experience. Plus, if you want to, you can go to our Discord server, and we have a special like little place called Student Reviews. It doesn't have like a lot of reviews right now, but you know, feel free to ask the students who left the reviews if they're open to like chatting and answering your questions, and you'll get some questions and answers from there. Plus, feel free to ask me on the Discord server. You'll probably see me in all of the announcements. I'm the one who's posting them. Feel free to ask me anything you'd be interested in. I'm also willing to talk about animation and how animation school went. So feel free to hit me up as well.
Yeah, I think you can also tell about our activities in the Discord, for example, that we have like how to say like not atelier, we have, how it called, when we work together online.
When we work together, yeah, we have different things we do during the week. First thing we do is on Thursdays. It's actually going to be tomorrow, and we like to call it like the practice room, which is basically a place where you can go. You join our voice channel, and we usually try to share screens as well, so we can watch people work. And this is basically a place where you set a goal you want to do in a certain amount of hours. It could be 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. I usually try to stick to 2 hours because it's just enough time to try something that you've been putting off for a while, just to give it a start, or to do something simple, like you can do something in 2 hours. So we set a goal, we do it, and then we check if we actually managed to complete the goal we set out initially. And if it's a yes, it's just a huge win for us. If it's a no, then there's probably reasons why that didn't happen, and we try to like look through them, understand like what exactly was like the challenge over here. Maybe there's a place that I've been neglecting in my animation studies that I should pick up on, or maybe I was very, very distracted and I need to talk less. That's usually my problem because I start like talking a lot and like joking and showing other stuff that I don't get anything done. So this is a place for you to train yourself and train your understanding of your abilities, and also a very good tracker of how you progress, because people put little messages and like in a year or two, you could go back to all these Discord messages and look like, oh, how cute that was. Like I tried to do that and I found that hard. Now it's like super easy for me. And I find like new challenges hard. Then on Friday, we have 5-Minute Friday, which is very telling in the name. It happens on Fridays, I think the same time, like 12:30 Central European time. And this is a place where I go on the YouTube channel and we do some kind of challenge. That would be either animating some special effects, like I did fire, explosions, I think I even did water, I don't remember. Or we do free lessons from our website and from our courses. You can go and sign up for the free courses whenever you want to. But I'm doing right now, this Friday, I'm going to do the second part of our basic free 2D animation course with the jumping cup. We did the jumping cup last time, and this time we're going to add some special effects. We're going to add some eyes and give some character to our character. And on Saturdays, we usually take the day off, just relax. And on Sundays, we come back and do figure drawing studies. So that could be anything ranging from drawing hands, feet, to drawing like whole figure. And we actually gotten some requests on drawing some specific parts of clothing, like shoes, for example. So we'll try to branch out as well. Maybe we'll do some parts of the figure drawing, and then we'll go specifically to a topic you want to draw, you want to study on. And I'll gather some references, and we'll basically do like a little box of suggestions. It will be a little thread you can find, it will be pinned, and you can put your suggestions on what you want to draw on Sundays. And I'll try my best to adhere to the user's wishes. But yeah, so we do fun stuff on Thursdays, Fridays, and Sundays. And usually we hang out on the server as well. We have very neat features. One of them is called, well, I forgot the name of the subfolder, but basically it's called like Best of the Best. And it has a bunch of very useful stuff you can use in your animation. They're like useful links with different websites, databases you can use to reference your animation, for example. We have Animation Inspo, where we share people who do really good animation or something that inspires us personally. We have model sheets that is basically like a little database of different characters you can use. For example, on course 2 of traditional 2D animation, you have to animate a character doing like something dynamic, picking up weights, and walking. And picking a character that you're gonna animate, because you're gonna think about them for like several months on end, especially if you're using the same character. It's better to use someone you're comfortable with and who you like visually, and having a big like library of model sheets usually helps to pick out something that's closer to you. So we have that, just a bunch of useful materials you can use, even a couple of books that you can download. Also, we have a thing called helper section. Usually, if you have problems with the software, with the animation, or you just have a general question of like, what would a pipeline in like a production consist with? And we try to answer them as much as we can. There's so much resources we can pull from, but usually we're very quick to answer. And we have sections on, I think, 2D animation, 3D animation. We have questions regarding the server and events, if you have any, and of course the school in general. And I think we have like Ask Anything, which is basically something more related to like general questions, as the example I've listed beforehand. So, And of course, you can always share your art, show your reels. I think that's one of our most active subfolders. First of all, because people love to share their art, and second of all, because I think we grew like a little cute, cozy community, and people are really nice to each other. So I'll try to keep that alive as possible. People being nice, I mean. But yeah, feel free to check it out. I think links for everything is in the description for the Discord, for our website, where you go, you can look through the free courses and also sign up for the upcoming courses. We have several. We have 2D animation, traditional 2D animation, and we also have visual development, which is also really interesting. And sorry.
Actually, it's
Yeah.
very good. It's very good information about the courses, because, for example, what's unique in our school from other like school in internet, that we in the end of our courses, we our aim to create a short film, right? We are here to learn how to do animation on like for like a job, for earning money. But also, if you want to create your own studio, or you want to create your own like directed, like a job, this is going to be a good opportunity to pitch some idea for a collective, because in the end of our classes, like of our process of education, let's say it's 1.5 years, you're gonna create a short film in a team. Team will be like multicultural, and you're gonna create a film in a different like working with different departments. For example, you will have department of visual development, that we have classes here, like that's teach Maor, Sharvit, and Andrei Sitari. These two classes, like visual development for beginners and for advanced like students, these classes will teach you and help you, like will guide you how to create art direction for the short film. Our class will be directing and storyboarding, and there is also two classes, like fixed animation and compositing. So these 4 departments will work together to finish complete the whole process of short film creation. So this is our main reason why we inviting here to create like animations, because we want to teach people how to do short films.
And I can personally say the creation of the short movie, it feels like you're an actual production, because you have very strict deadlines. You have a lot of people you have to work with. You have to explain like every single decision you make, because I remember when I was at the first course and we were making Cat Cafe, you have to explain every single decision you're doing for the movie, because you can't just telepathically relay your vision to other people. So you have to learn to explain all of the ideas you have in a very good, concise way. And the project that comes in the end is, I think, so much greater than the sum of its parts. It's just, I don't know, seeing everything from the start, from like these first drafts, from the first pitching session even to the finished product. It's such a like long journey in a very short amount of time. So it's very saturated. There's like a lot of stuff going on. Also, if you want to see our completed works on course 4, you can also go to our YouTube channel, and I think the playlist is rightfully so called like short films, if I'm correct. I'm actually gonna go and check right now. Yes, it's
maybe
called
you can send
short films.
link in the chat or something.
Yeah, let me actually link it in the chat for you. I just need a minute and I'll find it. Yeah, there we go. There it is.
Okay.
There we go. Now that. Mm. I now see already other people are sharing links. Okay. We got that down. So yeah, I think the link is in the chat, but I'm also going to put one in the description after the stream is going to be over.
And actually, you
So
can
you'll
tell
be able to watch them on your own.
you can, and actually you can tell what we're doing now. We're doing
Oh, yeah.
competition.
Yeah, we actually have a really cool competition coming up, but it's already in the like compositing stages. Am I right?
Yes, exactly. It's almost yeah, it's going to the end. Our fourth course actually is working on the music video for Pink Floyd, and it's a official competition of Pink Floyd, because that's how it's called. It's
Is there like,
Pink
I think
Floyd.
it's 50th anniversary, yeah?
Exactly. Pink Floyd made a competition because they have like 50th anniversary of the album Dark Side of the Moon, and everyone can join, and I mean can participate in this competition, and it's until end of November, I assume. So we're also doing that, and it's looking great. It's looking great.
I can't wait. I haven't seen none of the work in progress, so
Some
I
of
just got added to some of the chats.
yeah, some of our
So I
students
can't wait to
already.
see.
Actually, we have also after class. We have after class.
Yeah.
It's like intensive, like intense short course, and we always do that in September, January and May. So this after class, it's opportunity to come to our school and do whatever you want in the months, like where I give you my critiques twice per week, and so it's going to be like eight meetings, and you can I can give you critiques about anything, about your short project, your animation projects, or maybe you want to something learn from me. So yeah, I can help you with this. So it's accessible for everyone, so just keep in mind.
So basically like a practice room, but you have more accountability and you also have
I
a
give you a
teacher who's gonna
I give you a
mentor
feedback.
you through it. Yeah.
And for example, some of the students already saw this Pink Floyd short film in the after class, because my students participating and working on this short film.
Oh. And what's also interesting about the after class, that usually when you go to your regular courses, that consist of like 3 months of learning, you meet once per week, and you get reviews once per week. But if I understand correctly, after class, that's why it's more intensive. We have 2 meetings per week.
2 meetings per
Like
week, exactly.
yeah. So you get twice more the feedback in like a very little amount of time.
Yeah, but we don't do any exercises. We just finishing what you bring. I mean, I just give you feedback on whatever you have.
And anyone can join the after class,
Of
or the
course.
students who
No.
anyone?
Yeah, anyone.
So basically, if you want to complete your animation you've been putting off for a very long while, or you want to improve a project you're working on right now, these after classes are like a very good opportunity to try it out. How is it in the school? And also they give you a liberty to basically try any basically any quest you want to do, while giving the time frame, of course.
Exactly.
what I also actually like about the one of the perks, I'd say, with creation of the short film in the end. I think after completing first three classes, and if you complete it like with the best grades, with the top grades in each course, you will basically get an opportunity to get a review from an industry professional. We also
Yeah.
do that once every 3 months, after we have our, what do you call it? People who graduated on top of the class. We basically have this like special stream where we invite a professional, we invite the students, we ask them to bring their best works or works they want to get a review on. And basically we sit for about 4 hours, just talking, discussing works. Usually professionals, they would share something from their either personal background, tips and tricks, very interesting stuff. And it's very, very insightful because not only they're working on certain animation, and you can basically compare what they're saying and like try looking at your animation and see if you can improve it in the same way. And as well, they're sharing these little life hacks that you like for like initial viewing. They look not big, but actually when you go and animate, there's some stuff I would never came up with myself. So having someone like share these tips and like secrets with me, like I found that very useful. I think you can also check it out on our YouTube channel, and those are called, let me see what's the playlist called, because I'm very bad with names. Yes, animation feedback. Also, you can see it there on our homepage. And we have, I think, about 9 videos. So 9 different mentors from different kind of studios. We have people from the line that we discussed in the beginning of the stream. We have an animator from there who gave feedback. We have people from Cartoon Saloon. We
Yeah.
have people
I,
from Titmouse.
I think it's
So
basically professionals from the top studios in like 2D like animation in the world. Basically,
yeah,
we always invite people who I admire, who inspired me, and it's very cool opportunity to meet them. For example, when you're gonna be
absolutely.
next time, I don't know, in Annecy or somewhere else, like in some like big animation festival in the world, you can, for example, come and say hi and say like, hey, do you remember me? You gave me feedback on the Animation Club School, and it's gonna be nice, beginning of conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree.
Yeah,
And it gives
it's
you
big.
like this invaluable opportunity because, like, in the best case scenario, like your work could be so good, so amazing that even the industry professional would be like, oh wow, we need to get you hired like ASAP. So
Yeah.
there's always a chance.
Exactly, because animation world, it's about networking. It's networking is huge.
Yeah,
It's a huge part of getting jobs. So be nice, always, use opportunity to talk to people, and yeah, and I think, of course, like work hard and get the best result, but also this human factor is very important.
yeah. Human connection is very important because people are
Yeah.
gonna remember that they're gonna like have a job and they're like, ooh, like I need some animators. So they will probably look for some people who they know personally who can do that type of work. And if you're gonna be one of those people who they know personally as an animator, who can do the job, they'll be the first people who will reach out to you, like, and basically give you a job. That happened to me a couple of times. I just knew people who were working different kind of projects, and they just text me like, "Oh, I have so much like extra work. Do you want to like take part in it?" And that's basically how it works. First couple of times you look for something yourself, and then the more you work, the more connections you build. If you build connections, of course.
Yeah, also in the future, school gonna grow, and we're gonna share more and more job offers in the Discord channel as well. So keep it in
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah, we also have that, but it's mostly us looking through different kind of like, I wouldn't say marketplaces, like job marketplaces. And if there are any like 2D, 3D animation, we try to post it. But yeah, maybe one day we'll be like on the shorthand with different kind of studios, saying like, "Oh, we have these like very good guys. You want to take them from us? Well, they're still very fresh and don't take high rates." They're looking very good. Also, we have a question, very in line with what we were discussing right now. How can one network after school? It'd be hard to find events and stuff. Mm, you can give us some examples, or I can give a couple of simple examples you could do.
I didn't understand the question. Can you repeat this?
How can someone network after they finish the school? Because it could be hard to find events and different opportunities by ourselves.
How to find a network? Yes, the question.
Basically, yeah.
I think first of all, you have to publish all your demo reels. I mean, you have to edit your demo reels and publish everywhere. And also, yeah, and also send your demo reels exactly to the company, like studios that you like. Next, you can create, for example, LinkedIn and search for the studios or contacts or people who work in some studios. Ask some private maybe emails or contacts or something else. Next, you can also ask your friends, for example, in Discord, maybe someone is working somewhere and can, suggest someone. And next, go to the festivals and talk by yourself. So all these things works in a certain way. So like, yeah, sometimes if you already build very strong social media, people like reach you out, but sometimes you need to do it by yourself.
Yeah, completely. But it's mainly posting, sharing, and talking to people.
Yeah.
It was the biggest dilemma for me. And that when you network, you actually have to talk to people and you actually have to share your art.
Yeah.
It's usually this a hurdle of like not wanting to share it because people won't be impressed. But like that's just part of life. It hurts maybe a first couple of times, but then you just get used to it, and there will be people who appreciate your work.
Yeah, but if people not impressed, so you have a feedback, right? You already understand that something is wrong, and you understand that maybe it's not time for you, or you're not showing to right people. For example, I'm pretty sure that there is a job for everyone. You just have to find right studio with the right project, with the right level of quality or of level of demand, so yeah.
Yeah, completely. Also, sometimes if you get like a feedback on your demo reel you didn't expect, like I said, they weren't impressed, but that's still feedback. You can consider it as like a step forward you didn't know you can take. Even if it's a bit rough around the edges, it still brings you to a higher place than you were yesterday. So that's still a win for you.
If you're approaching someone and you're not certain about your demo reel, don't ask for a job right away. Maybe ask, hey guys, can you tell me what I can improve in my demo reel? And yeah, and if they will like it, they can offer you something. If they don't, they just can give you feedback, and it's also going to be profit.
Yeah, completely. Oh, hey, Andrew. Hope you like the stream. Good thing we're recording everything, so it's not a problem. You can watch it anytime you want to. Can you please move?
Okay, we have only half an hour left. I'm trying to be fast.
Ibrahim is asking your opinion, Edward, on flipping versus onion skin. But I think we discussed this question actually, and I think closer to the beginning of the
Use
stream.
both, always.
Yeah,
Always use
both.
everything what you can, you know, like all tools are useful. You cannot just ask, I mean, just question what is better. Everything is better. You can you have to use both in a certain situation.
Yeah. We basically discussed before how flipping helps you build this visual consistency in your head. But light tables out of pegs give you consistency in terms of keeping the volumes, the shapes intact, and it helps you track everything better than just flipping back and forth.
Yeah,
but this is important.
Yeah, flipping basically is for understanding the volume. I'm not volume, motion, you know, like arcs and stuff. But light of peg is like light table. It's about tracking the volume. Nothing else.
So yeah, if there is a question you wanted to ask, I'm not going to force you to go through the whole video back and forth just to ask it. But if it's something that we already discussed, I'll just tell you that you can look it up or you can watch it in your free time if you missed the beginning. But right now we're open for questions. I think we have about 30 minutes left before we run out of time. So this is the best time to ask any kind of questions you want to get answered. Also a question. Have you seen the new Procreate application called Procreate Dreams that's going to come out soon?
No, not really. I don't use Procreate. It's for iPad, right?
Yeah,
it's for iPad. I don't have iPad. I use
well,
I use some paper. I draw on paper or on Interview Paint.
The OG. Actually, Procreate Dreams, I have Procreate. I don't really like using it, but I'm very willing to try Procreate Dreams because it sounds really interesting. The reviews sound interesting, and the promo that I think Aaron Blaze, I think, did a promo for Procreate Dreams, and it looks pretty promising. What he can do in it, but he'll be able to do that in like normal Procreate, which is almost impossible to use for any complex animation. So he'll do it even like good on paper with left hand with like eyes closed. But once it'll come out, the price will be very, very, very pricey. I'm actually planning to do a little stream to test out some of the features. So we can keep an eye on that.
Yeah, very, very nice. Okay. I'm trying to find the best arcs for the night, and then to add you know, background animation to him, because it's pretty straightforward. What I have to do with the background is just, you know, like just speed lines and yeah, and just zoom in. Maybe I will add some trees later to have this impression that everything is going forward. Yeah, but you, for example, you can see the process. What like process of thinking, right? What I'm doing first, it's you know, like some poses, some rotation, some timing and spacing of the knight, because he's our main character. Motion of this giant also is straightforward. He's just standing up, but there is like different you know, speeds of different parts, like for example hand and the face. Probably I'm going to finish it later, like after the stream, to make it you know, more complete, because today I would yeah, I'm just, you know, making very
and no talking, none of us pestering.
yeah.
Is there any time you'll be using timing charts in this animation?
No, I have actually timing charts on my timeline. I don't need them. I see my timing, my and spacing here on these beautiful keys. So I don't need anything else like that to understand what, because I'm not transferring my job to someone else. I don't need to explain like visually what my next step will be. I have everything in my head, and I don't want to use this feeling of flow, right? I want to be with my animation, just sometimes when I am in a flow, I don't even listen some music. I just super like deep into animation, and just, oh my god, like just raw arcs, speeds, and these volumes. Okay, so here it's going to be slow motion, basically, when the character will look how the frost giant like gets from the ground, and the village will be on his shoulders. Yeah, so it's just epic scene. Actually, it could be fun to add voice sound effects on top of the animation, like like that.
Yeah, the roar of the giant.
Tartakovsky in
The
Primal
wind,
did
like.
yeah. Gennady Tartakovsky in his animatics always do voiceovers. Like he's always like it's amazing. He's always put
I hope
voice.
they'll release it someday.
Yeah, I hope so. He roars, and when, for example, when I was doing like Primal, he roars and he just like deep, like changing voice, like, oh my god, like I mean, Primal is kind of, first is season was mute, but second, there is some some like voicing, like acting, so yeah. But even just yelling and just like some like, because
Yeah.
Spear like always like reacts very loudly
Yeah.
on things, yeah. So he all does.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe they'll have, like release it with his original. I think that would be really
Yeah,
funny.
it's
That would be
it's,
really
it's good
cool.
promotion, yeah, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he doesn't need any promotion already. It's the thing, like from the kitchen, maybe it's gonna embarrass him, I don't know.
So keep it a secret.
Yeah,
You like watch
it
it
will be
later.
in my memory. I will never
And in
erase
our
it.
bond.
Erase it.
Uh, we have a question. When would you do the voiceovers? Before animating the scene or afterwards?
It depends if I have some dubbing, of course, before. If anything, like sound effects, it's called Foley. When you add sound after, to, for example, to make this like steps, or some clothes shaking, it's called Foley, and you add always after. Before, only some like music, if you need to make animation to the music, like or voice acting. Maybe sometimes you see some videos from the video games, or like CGI, movies, when actors with this like motion captures act, and then the animators work on that on top. Basically, for animation to the animation, the same. Unfortunately, sometimes when we, I mean, not sometimes, often when we do voice, acting, we don't have video recordings of actual actors who do who work, who act, because sometimes in their mimics, in their how they pronounce things, we could potentially use it to make it to make animation more rich.
And I think on the first course, it's more of a mixed bag. The initial sound, you try to come up like the way we did it on Cat Cafe. First, we did the storyboard, the animatic. We had some kind of music. We tried to stick with, kind of to feel the vibe of the animation, to
rhythm.
kind of understand the very important story beats. And after, when we completed some parts of the animation, we sent all of the materials to our, like, how do you call it? The
Sound designer.
the compositor, but compositing is like compositing a picture, but basically the person who was responsible for the sound design. So, and after we sent some of the materials we already completed, he created a track that we're going to use in the animation. And after we finished the clean and final animation, because it was very important for the Foley sounds to be in sync with what was happening on the camera, he asked to send us all of the clean shots stitched together as they're supposed to be in a movie. And afterwards, you have to stick to that specific timing and everything, because there's a limited amount of times an artist can redo all of the Foley. You change it suddenly.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a question. What focal length to use for a cinematic feel?
Focal length.
Mm-hmm.
It depends, but I think it's wide. It's like wide because you have more space. And but cinematic, it depends. For example, this shot with this kind of, with this there's a character in this kind of not close up, but middle and deep, space like that. It's also cinematic, could be, right? So I'm not sure what you mean, but I think I assume that it's more like dynamic, not dynamic, but epic, more
More like wide angle?
wide angle. Yeah, I think it's gonna be that. You see, I always track. I'm trying to do a nice arc for my parts of the body.
Let's have another question. Is it worth to understand timing charts if you already have a timeline?
I'm not like I want to be honest with you. I'm very I don't like time charts. It's always pain for me when I need to do them. Yeah, so I always try to finish like all necessary tasks in my animation, and if I need to give my job to someone else, I'm just being very rough to transfer my job, like with all frames and all frames that I want, and like necessary frames, and just transfer it to make it like proper, like tie down and clean. I'm trying to not leave anything like unclear for next next levels of work, let's say. So I'm trying to avoid time charts because I don't like them, and you can see that it's not necessary to work in the industry. Yeah. You see, I'm never copy pasting anything because in every frame our character will be different. So we cannot just copy paste, especially in the close-ups. Every centimeter or meter will change slightly angle of our character. So we need to draw always some kind of rotation and motion.
And also the knight character, is it some kind of an established character or it's something you created specifically for the stream?
No, I found it in the internet.
Ah,
Just
because you told the design of the monster was of your friend.
Monster,
So
yeah, monster, yes. But the character just some basic knight. I like his this part, so it's more interesting than just like regular. So I decided to keep it.
And it's also very telling about like the perspective and where he's
direction,
looking at.
yeah.
Very
Yeah,
good
exactly.
like indicator.
Exactly.
I don't know if it was an actual term or not. And I already forgot the term. It's called like a handle, maybe an animator's handle. Like in Klaus, the main character, he has these like two dots on the side of his shoulders where I forgot the shoulder pads are. And they're mostly used, they're a good like a piece in his like visual design in general, but also these like little spots were used for helping animators to track weights and everything as a good like anchor for the animator to base the movements as.
Yep.
Oh, we have another question. Have you ever worked doing like traditional animation with a 3D background in maybe, for example, like Blender? Like they have grease pencil that allows you to work in the 3D space. But basically, what were your experiences with like 3D backgrounds? How you personally worked around them?
I never worked with a 3D background, but I know that it's basically you have to, for example, if you have a 3D background, usually you have also a clock, how to say block of or just a tracker that where you put your character in instead of this tracker, and basically you have to when you work on dynamic shots or something, you have to make keys with this tracker, so you don't work on like straight ahead. You don't do every frame like that. You have to do here, and then go back, add here, and then go back, and this. So basically, this is an important approach to place your character in the keys within a certain position of the 3D background, and check them first, and then add different like additional frames to to follow the background. This is basically like 100% how animation made. I don't have any experience with Blender and grease pencil, not at all. And yeah. After I will add some motion for the feather and the cape, because I will not have time.
No, yeah.
I don't have time to do that today. Yeah, maybe I will do some posing, like like ready pose in the end with the knight with the sword and the shield, because yeah, it's gonna take a while. Now I want to concentrate a little bit more on the background in the beginning, because it's gonna add this like flow. Okay, we have very little time left, so let's do that.
Yeah, just a little bit.
For example, if it's kind of Nordic landscape, maybe we can also add some mountains. Very far, maybe also some trees.
It would be cool if one of the mountains was crushed by like a hand, something like grabbing it,
Here,
as if the
it's too
monster was
far.
walking through the
It's too far.
mountains.
Yeah,
Ah,
this giant is not like
not that big.
not that big. It's too far. For example,
Another
we have
question:
a yeah.
you have any personal like action heroes or cinematic directors you like specifically for action scenes? Are there any directors that you find very masterful in like action scenes or like dynamic stuff?
Masaki Yuasa, I would say.
True.
It's super cool director that use very cool animation approach, angles, and directions.
Mhm.
Someone else, I'm not sure. It's more about to the animators who work like who does something super extremely cool. Um, Maybe for example, Maxime Delalande. It's guy who came to us to our school once. He's super
Mhm.
talented and he's a very talented animator, storyboard artist. All his storyboards also like already like animated films. It's super cool. Maybe him, I would say.
Mhm.
So this
Yeah,
cracker will be
animation
like
is such a team effort. It's hard to pick someone like one person
yeah.
who's responsible for the success of the shot. That's true.
You can like okay. The mountain. Okay, maybe this is not very good position. I'm gonna replace mountain.
Because they were like in the same spot.
The same spot, the same silhouette. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you can to amplify feeling that you have like speed motion. You have to add speed lines. Like fast motion, you have to add speed lines.
Mm-hmm.
And especially for objects that's very close to the camera. Maybe even hear some air. You can see I have this impression of a camera rotation with these just speed lines that just in the air, they can be as wind or as, I don't know, like a roar or just something like happening in the air, just this impression, you know? So yeah, you have to be smart about some tricks in animation, especially when you watch a lot of like animators who for years doing this 2D animation, like fighting scenes, dynamic shots. They use all like a lot of these kind of tricks. It's very helpful.
And I just wanted to comment on that, how you use the little speed lines to basically show how the camera turns. You keep them in the same little space, just move them with the character together.
Yeah.
So it does feel like there's like 3D space moving, the camera is moving in. It looks really cool.
For example, we had this kind of stone. Maybe we can also add it here, and this also break. And here. So yeah, for now I'm gonna end. So I need to add like more animation for the giant, how he stands up, and also it's gonna influence the background itself. So for now you understand the approach, for example. So I did 3 thumbnails, 3 frames to kind of how to say, to make this like saving points, right, for me, and understand how it's gonna go, and then I create the motion or the arc and the rhythm, how the character will move from point to point, because otherwise I could do this like straight ahead, but it would be much more difficult because I wouldn't know where it's gonna end, or it could be much more rough. It's gonna take more time, and maybe gonna be like rougher than it's here, because when I did these 3 frames in the beginning, 3 keys, I did it with kind of tie down approach, so I know how it's gonna look in the end. Okay, do we have some questions?
Well, will you post the final version anywhere we will be able to see it?
Yeah, I will finish it. Maybe I will add some tone and stuff, so it's gonna be more presentable. When it's gonna be soon, I think this or next week, and we're gonna see it, I think, in our school's Instagram.
Yeah, I think social medias. And if there's possible, I'll probably oh, and also what I wanted to ask, if it's possible to share the TV Paint file for anyone who would be willing to go through it. But that I think will be on the Discord server then, when it's going to be ready.
Sure, of course.
Yay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Well, I think we can end for today. Again, I want to thank you for such an amazing stream. I hope it was insightful for all of you as much as it was for me. Thank you for tolerating the little assistant who was popping in and out of frame. If you want to learn more, feel free to go to our social medias. Feel free to go to our site, check out our courses. Our new courses are already starting in October. So if you feel that you want to try 2D animation, visual development, this is the sign from the heavens that you should go and try it right now. Again, all the links are below. Thank you again for joining us, either as a live stream or as part of a recording. Anyways, spending so much time with us means personally a lot, I think, for me and for Edward as well. So I think this is a great time to say goodbyes. Again, thank you for being here. This is a very fun stream. I think we had a lot of fun little things that happened today. And we're probably going to see, well, you're going to see me very soon on the Discord channel, actually tomorrow and here on Friday. We do that every week. And keep an eye out for our new events and workshops that are going to roll around the corner also really, really soon. So.
Yes, thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for questions, and see you next time. Some of my students going to see me right now because I have demo session right now. So
yeah, we'll let you go. Thank you for being here today. I think this is a good time to say bye-bye. Hope to see you soon.
Hello everyone, this is Animation School. My name is Edward Kurchevsky, and I'm professional 2D animator based in Paris.
Bobby, would you care for a piece of pie?
I studied animation over 10 years in one of the top schools in the world, and now I'm ready to share my knowledge with you. In the past 4 years of teaching, my students achieved remarkable results and working in studios like Cartoon Salon, Skiald, studying in schools like Gobelin, l'École de l'Image and CalArts.
I'm not sure what we've got here, Charlie. But if we've got what I think we've got something.
Our goal is to prepare qualified professionals in a short amount of time during our intense course. We are here to also create a bridge between you and studios and help you find your first professional position in industry. Online studying became one of the most important parts in worldwide education system, and I am pretty sure with us you will achieve great results. Good luck!
actually a princess. I'm not kissing her.